Okay. I just think 1, 2.
Don't. God, that's gonna be your new thing that you do that just makes me mad. Okay, so he said that it's cool if we do the full-on reaction.
Okay.
But the main thing that he's looking for is our discussion.
Okay. So this is actually going to be a different video. This has actually been requested to us by this person. What's the channel's name?
It was requested by well, at this point, a buddy of mine, Mark. He was a fan. It's his friend's channel, CGM SHOW.
Okay.
So I'm guessing comics, games, movies.
I could have sworn I've heard that one before.
I think we have done something, checked out one of his videos before.
Yeah. Off camera or?
I think it was off camera.
Okay.
Because I'm almost certain that he sent us something to look at before.
Or
so,
yeah, okay.
What we're going to be doing is pretty much helping him out with critiquing his editing.
Yeah.
Granted, we're not the best at it.
I just do what I can.
Yeah. We're not good at it. We're good at knowing what's wrong with it.
Yeah, like that's the internet. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
why do when you could complain?
So, it's not like any other, full reaction thing where we put on a picture. We're actually just gonna leave this all on the channel just as part of like the critique. So, without further ado, let's react to another video thing in 3, 2, 1, and play. Ooh.
We review for you. Right here on CGM Show.
Hello, everybody, welcome to...
Whoa, that was such an abrupt cut.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Switch? Or Mark.
Wow.
Well, that's how we've always done it.
I like the guy's shirt.
What, the red lantern, or that's what she said?
Both.
I saw the picture this morning.
What's up with you, Coastal Surf?
Really cool, but then we saw the trailer not too long ago.
I know you're not really looking into like this kind of retreat, but just like the audio quality.
Yeah, they said that they know all that. It's just they don't have the equipment for it.
Right. Okay.
So there's only so much you can do, just like there's only so much we could do before we got the camera, the lights, and the mic. We kind of went off of your old camcorder.
Seth likes it.
It looks...
All right.
It looks awesome. I really
So one thing that did feel a little bit dragged out.
Probably does like the versatility of it. Because that's the... No, wait, no.
They also got to watch to make sure that homeboy right here on your guys' right doesn't bump the table.
Right.
Seeing the thing shake every now and again.
If this is
What?
at least
What?
above $400, I'm not buying it. There's no way I'm spending more than $400 on this. You know what I'm really curious about though? The Scorpio and Neo just with people running 4K. I was like, what? I know, that's why I understand. Why
See, here's one thing.
That makes sense.
They're kind of talking about that.
Because you can take it on the go.
Yeah, that's a point I would make. 4K and all that is cool and all. It's phenomenal.
Oh, that was... Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. He was like playing. He was playing like Zelda. Oh no, he's playing Skyrim.
There you go.
He was playing Skyrim Sword.
Skyrim Sword.
No, he's playing Zelda and like a freaking waiting for it playing.
Dude, could you
But
imagine
he starts off
on the
playing
game?
it on his TV with the actual controller.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to say is
You can detach them from the controller. I know we saw guys playing.
good points that they're offering. However, for me, I think the capabilities of PlayStation and Xbox, although their performance power is beyond amazing with the Pro and Scorpio,
On the basketball.
the Switch is going to be the best console.
Yeah.
You can do so much more. It's more than just, hey, I could play this game prettier. With
Yeah.
the Switch, it's, I can play this game better in more ways than you can.
I can play here, I can play there, I can
Yeah.
play here, there.
If you're a gamer,
Yeah.
you don't have to wait till you get home. Right?
Exactly, you don't have to wait till you get home.
I feel like that screwed me up. I'd get off
Like earlier, when we were doing the live stream, I was stuck in the room playing Fallout.
Oh,
If
so,
I had
yeah,
the Switch, I can
It's like-
just,
That's the thing. I'm on vacation. Cool. I'm taking my.
Yeah.
I'm taking my Switch.
and then just completely ignore everyone here as I'm killing things in Fallout.
Yeah. I wonder if they mentioned anything about the battery life of this thing. Well, I mean, we don't know anything about it, but
But anyway,
it needs to like last quite a while.
I think it'll probably last about as long as a 3DS.
Yeah. Yeah, if it can do that, that's totally fine.
I'd say a 3DS with the 3D on.
gonna show
Yeah,
it in 4K.
Yeah, I don't know the full length of that, but yeah.
Because you know that definitely sucks the power out.
Yeah, like
But they do.
hardware upgrades, but that's just too much money for something like this.
My brother really wants it, so I might share with him possibly. Or
One thing I definitely want to recommend to you guys,
But to be honest,
use a
like,
smartphone if you have one
thing I
for
saw
the
that
audio.
really nice cross-platform.
It can do.
Finally,
It does a lot more than you would expect it to, especially with newer phones. Like if you have the Samsung Galaxy Note or the Samsung Galaxy 6 or even, well, the 7S or even the 6S. If you have either of those, it'll work fine. If you have any of the iPhones, phenomenal. Because laptop anything is not exactly the best quality.
Yeah.
It works.
It can work, but it has like a weird effect to it.
Yeah.
Which might just be the quality.
Mhm.
But yeah, so far so good. Like, this is totally fine. Just like how we're doing it right now, where it's just like there's no cuts or anything, no special effects or anything like that. It's only when you implement it that you have to like decide like how well will this like pan out for people who are receiving this.
Big thing, audio spikes.
Yeah,
There is definite audio spikes in it.
yeah.
And a dog.
Oh, aw. That was a bit cringy. I'll say that, but I'll let it slide because it's too cute.
One thing that I think they could do to change like their production quality, change that guy's shirt.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta like experiment with colors.
Mhm.
That light would fly by you.
I'm sorry, I got like a flashback of Chris up when that guy talked. Sorry, just like
I remember when we had a bigger black guy with us.
a moment of silence, and we're done.
Sir, you're like, oh, God.
Just look at Seth, like, Seth, calm down.
This is a flat light. It's big.
I'm thinking like the editing becomes a little. Oh, I don't know who out of the three are editing. If there's someone in there who's editing, but it could be the editing could be a little bit too personal, actually.
Well, it's
Well, I
not,
mean,
it's
there's
none of
there's
them.
some. It's
None of them are the editors.
I know.
what?
Okay.
I gotta tell you
the story. The longest time I ever played Total War, I played it for
Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can find a better picture of Mark so I can see exactly what this guy looks like.
I don't know.
Also, like an optional thing that, like, obviously we don't do, but you could do, you can utilize, is just have background music. Sometimes that can work. Sometimes it just gets the flow of the conversation going, but that doesn't mean you have to.
Are you Mark?
Pretty sure that is Mark.
17 years old.
Because clearly the guy in the center is Seth. Yeah, that's
I
Mark.
did like 6 to maybe 8 hours.
Not Marky Mark though. Not Marky Mark. What is that right there? Like right there.
Looks like it could be a reflection of a lamp.
It's like
Yeah.
simplest do simplest.
But then, like,
Oh, Civ?
Oh,
how
God.
reflective is that
No,
wall?
I remember one
I don't
time.
know.
Civ's fun, but it's like-
What is that?
Oh man, you know what? I played it one time from 6 in the morning to 5.
Also, I apologize to you guys on CGM Show for entirely not listening to what you're saying.
But,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They're filming this in the day. That's reflecting off of a CD. When Seth raised his arm, you saw that go away and his arm get really bright.
Trademark. Nintendo.
Raise the other arm.
I know, right? That's the thing. We're so small.
Keep me the shit up your back.
Not my red leg. Shit. Oh, I guess.
I don't like where this is going.
Let's say
That was actually kind of funny.
That was for $500.
Although it's kind of weird because when you have like a long running thing and just somehow add something in there, it just kind of becomes abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I haven't really resolved myself. So no, that's something pointing out. Because you can be like, at this point, you can just like casually like be doing something as you listen to this, and then all of a sudden you hear that, and you're like,
Definitely, I feel like
what?
it's going to be a game changer in terms of games.
I think one thing you definitely want to avoid is like too long of a clip.
Imagine if you were that damn good.
You know, I was thinking
Is there's definitely a lot of like run on.
yeah, I kind of suffer from that too. But otherwise, yeah, if it does, you just need to get the point across, essentially.
And
But yeah, like what I found really cool.
it was just an odd mixture to find because there's times that you don't want it to last too long, but you don't want the audio to have like an abrupt end, like when it showed him on the airplane.
Unless
Like
for
the-
comedic effect. I could accept that.
But if anything, that only works better if you're cutting from yourself.
Yeah.
Stupid guys.
You kind of want to interrupt yourself. You don't want to interrupt the thing that you're, for the most part, critiquing, I guess.
I just see some idiot doing that though.
And then they're gonna law.
What?
Don't jerk and drive.
There's gonna be a law, and they're gonna be like, "This is breaking news today, guys."
Don't tell them what to do.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Oh, well, first of all, please think about your thoughts about the Switch.
Don't worry, I get that too.
God. Yes, you do.
Subscribe if you want to see more of us in the future, and
For the love of God, please do it.
And please share your comments.
Please do the snap. Do the switch. Do the switch.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for bringing us on. And please share your feedback in the comment section below.
That's totally fine. The whole cut's there.
And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of us in the future. And we will see you on the next one.
And the next one.
Obligatory dubstep ending. That's totally fine, but that's just something that like,
I would say stray away from that as much as you can.
that seems like a gaming thing.
It seems like a no creativity thing.
It's a hey, I did something cool. Let's have this. Not that there's anything wrong with that because you're the editor. You just like plop that in there. Although it is very abrupt. It's a very abrupt end to it. Okay, so I guess overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. I give the editing, I'd say a 7 out of 10, like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
If I was being a jerk about, like a real jerk about it, a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if I was like really just having a bad day, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. But then
I've definitely seen worse, but there's definitely a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, we're just a little above that.
I'd say we're about a point and a half ahead.
See how much of a difference that makes? Just gotta write it down. Just gotta take those notes.
I would say do your best to avoid like copy and paste type intros and outros.
Like hard cut.
Well, I don't mean that. That's not what I'm talking about. Like how you said with the obligatory dubstep.
Yeah.
That type of ending, both with the way the animation was, I feel that was an ending from another channel that someone else kind of edited and created.
Okay, I get what you mean. Like there's no like personal part into that. That's just like an obligatory.
It reminds me of like every Vine compilation channel's ending.
Right.
Where it has the zoom, and then it swoops over here and then it swoops over there and everything rotates with dubstep in the background.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the Windows Movie Editor opening.
What was that?
The opening that they had to the video. I actually enjoyed that a lot more than the ending of it.
Yeah, it was actually pretty different from anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, it felt like looking at it, it definitely feels like a Windows Movie Editor opening because it looks like every swoosh animation that they have for it. But I prefer that because it shows that one, they put the effort into it, and two, it gives its own personality, its own feel, as opposed to every other cookie cutter review and compilation thing out there where it's like, well, let's take this big over the top intro / outro and put it as our intro / outro since it worked over here.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is create more of a relationship between the opening and ending to the actual footage. And sometimes even Markiplier is pretty good with this. And at the end of his like videos, he'll always sign off. And you hear the music like slowly backing up in the background until he gets to bye-bye, and then like it drops. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, it totally works. So yeah, just like try to like incorporate, try to like blend them together. So like at some point, like the music like fades in or fades out depending on like what we're talking about.
Yeah, a good fade goes a long way. Mm-hmm. And if anything, try and avoid like jump cuts with your editing. So how the intro cut immediately to the video and how the video immediately cut into the outro.
Okay.
Those are two things that, in my opinion, from videos that I've watched, I really prefer, especially with videos like this where it shows them talking to you. Those are definitely things that I prefer, where it kind of eases into it, has some sort of transition.
Yeah. And that kind of goes on to my next thing, is like the flow of like the video, because like making that kind of transition like kind of carries you over to the next thing like smoothly without any kind of a harsh cut type of deal. So when you, especially like in the middle of a video, when you reference something and you just cut immediately to that clip without anything else, especially like when you just have the audio from that video in there with like a hard cut transition, it just, it definitely breaks the flow. So sometimes like I've actually recently been doing this for discussion thing, is that I actually would overlay the video like in a small screen, like it was a reaction, but we're still talking like after the video, but you just see the video of like what I'm referencing there, just so people get it. So it doesn't break the flow, but you get what I mean as you see like what's going on the bottom screen. So that's what I would want to say. So instead of just like a full on visual audio cut, just have a smaller version of the video without any kind of audio, just playing, like slowly fade into it and just have it play, and we're still talking. We don't have it there, like, at least we don't see it, but definitely the viewers can see it as they're listening to us.
Yeah. So kind of, I kind of spaced out during a lot of what you're saying.
That's fine.
So trying to piece together what I heard and context of it. Are you saying that like when he cuts to how he cut to footage of the commercial, kind of keep your voice overlaid with it a bit?
You can do that too. I was thinking like, and the same thing like with the reaction where you're looking at something and it just pops up for the viewers to see along with us. Just have that, except that we're not actually watching it from our face cam. We're still talking. Yeah. As it still plays in the background. So.
And that would work for the most part, but
if you want the audio in there.
Yeah. I think the main thing that he was trying to portray with this is kind of how we do with our discussions. We cut to it. That way you can hear our audio with everything that's happening. That way you get the full reference of what we're talking about, which is what I got from this, is they'd be mentioning something and then you'd cut to it and show exactly what it was. So there's times that you kind of don't want to talk over it because you could be continuing a point.
Right. What I did for the discussion thing is that I implement like these flashback effects where I do a mix of not just like visual, but also audio transitions to make sure it like kind of flows with things.
And that's kind of what I would kind of like build on with what you said, is when you do a transition, especially how we do our little flashback things, we can kind of have our voices trail off as the other audio picks up. So it kind of does that into one another. Yeah. Where there's enough of a gap between where the video starts and what we were referencing starts.
Otherwise, that's pretty much all I can really get so far, is like how you guys want to make your videos.
Try and find different text fonts.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like favorite like Impact and a few other ones, but yeah, I do stick with Impact. Yeah. Oh, also, there was another one where, I think Seth right there was doing something. Yeah. And then like it cut everything and just like kind of focused in on Seth with like a little text saying like, Seth, what are you doing? Something like that. I mean, it really does depend on the editor. Like, there's no right or wrong, but I guess for me personally, I wouldn't really just break the action just for that. Add some text there. That's fine, but it's like, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, yeah, that's just more of a personal preference. Nothing you really need to improve on or change, but that's just my preference.
If anything, what you could have done instead of cutting from everything, the different color effects and the text and all that, what you could have done was like a slow zoom as he was doing, because he did what he was doing for a while. You could have slow zoomed in contrast with it. As it slowly zooms in, you could have expanded the words like, "You all right there, Seth?"
Actually, there's something I was working on Merrick's collab video, and there's a little thing when you announce a winner, and you want to emphasize like them winning, so you do some kind of special effect. I want to just show you, but it kind of doesn't really have much to do here. But I guess just kind of like experiment a little. I mean, if anything, yeah, try zooming in. Sometimes, not just like a hard like cut to his face. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like a slow, not exactly a slow crawl zoom, but like I'd say a 75% zoom speed.
Yeah.
Like a 75% zoom speed. Since you're trying to keep the action flowing, keep the whole conversation going, you could do a 75% speed zoom into him. Not to where it's like right up on his grill, but you can do a zoom with that and then expand the words. You all right there, Seth? Because it kind of draws into him and emphasizes like the fuck's going on here, but everything keeps moving. And then you can do like a hard cut zoom out.
Right, and that's totally fine. Kind of it kind of just like snaps you out of like that weird thing going on.
Because just like naturally, like what you would do if you're watching the video, you kind of like, as he's doing it, you kind of like draw your attention to it as he's doing it. And once he's stopped, you kind of like snap back and review the rest of the video as it's happening. Because I know as he was doing it, everyone else was talking, but I was slowly like realizing that my focus was only on him. And then he stopped and I was like, oh, okay. And then you cut emphasis back to that.
Yeah. I would also like suggest like, if you want to like really improve on your stuff, try to like watch some like video podcasts and stuff like that. Or just like, not maybe just podcasts, but just like news informing type of video content and see how they kind of like implement like talking about something, referencing something and just showing you what that is so you get it, but also keeping the flow of the conversation going.
If anything, if you really don't feel like scrounging all of YouTube to find like good podcast and reviews channels, watch news.
Yeah. They got that down. I mean,
because they know how to talk while still showing something, while still having the sound to it, and knowing when to zoom, when to cut, how big and how small to make the clips.
Yeah. Because, yeah, like if you watch like a regular news channel, they have that down on lockdown, really. They got that down.
Yeah, people were paid a lot of money to know how to do that.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know who's the one in charge of like doing the broadcasting stuff, but they've got it. They know how to do it. They know how to work it. So, yeah, if anything, just like kind of draw inspiration for other types of content as well. The one that's popping on my head is Philip DeFranco. He does cover news, but
yeah, Philip DeFranco does do he does a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, as well as like other people who've been like editing his videos and stuff like that. But yeah, like just kind of like take note of like, or be very much aware of like how they edit their videos.
My God. One missed opportunity that you had, you son of a bitch, was not using the snap enough.
Of course. If you just do more of that.
This is a video that you could have used that quite a bit and got away with it. Because anyone that has seen that trailer, they would know. You could have did the switch when you cut your intro.
Oh, shoot.
You could have did it when you cut to your outro.
Oh my God.
You could have did it every time he fucked up and you did take 1, take 2, take 3.
Yeah. Shoot. Now that you mentioned like the whole snapping finger thing, they did bring that up in the very beginning.
You used it once in the entire video. You could have used that like 32 times.
But the way that you incorporated like that snap, just like immediately from the source video, at the very end of that little cut into Nintendo Switch, you hear a little bit of audio before it gets cut off. And I was like, that's bad. You will really want to like get into like the really nitty gritty and just like find out exactly when you can just like have more leeway to like silence and have like the music here that would be there cut off.
Definitely one thing that you want to do when it comes to editing, although it's tedious, zoom into the second frames of audio. Because when I did a small editing job for the channel, whenever I wanted to check the audio and check and all that, I with Premiere Pro, that's it, right?
Yep.
With Premiere Pro, you can zoom into the editing timeline and look at it in number of frames per second. Right. So if you did 60 frames per second, the smallest unit that you could break anything down is 1/60th of a second.
Right.
Or 1/30th of a second, depending on what the frame rate is. Yeah, what the frame rate you want it to be is. So if you really want to be good and have good editing, you have to do that. You have to break it down into the frames per second area.
Yeah. Specifically for audio, I'd say.
Audio is definitely the place to do it.
Yeah.
And definitely when you do hard transitions. If you do a hard visual transition, you definitely want to see the exact perfect moment to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like if someone were to clap their hands and you do a cut, you would want to see the exact moment that their hands make contact and the moment that there's a spike in audio.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Anything else? I think that's pretty much everything we need to cover.
In terms of editing, that's all I can think of. In terms of production, you definitely want to kind of find a way to more balance out where you guys are. If not, at least level out your the top of the frame with how the wall is.
Yeah.
The wall's at an angle. If you did it correctly, what you could have done is rotate your laptop a bit. That way the top of the wall lines up with the top of the frame. That way you don't see the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And you could have used that empty space where your head is, I'm guessing, Mark. I'm now dubbing him Mark until I'm told otherwise. Between you and Seth, how you have that corner of the wall. What you could have done is you could have used that as a space to put a clip. Or if you really wanted to and you're really into it, you could have spaced your I'm going off that because of the shirt. You could have spaced she and Seth apart from each other.
Yeah.
A bit. And you could have used the entire picture frame as an area to put clips.
That's cool.
There's a lot of things that you guys could do production value wise that since you're using a stationary camera, you can easily do that in editing. Mm-hmm. So your job as an editor, Mark, is not only just editing after, but kind of thinking ahead. And as you're filming, as you're setting up and getting the whole production set up, think of what you can do and how you can better
utilize your space.
Yeah. So if we had something here,
like green screen.
Well, not even a green screen. If we had like a framed picture, like you guys have your eagle, it would be better for Justin and I in terms of how we do like reviews, discussions, reactions, all that. It'd be a better idea for he and I to sit on opposite ends of the couch. Mm-hmm. That way you have an unobstructed view of this and we could display a video there. Mm-hmm. It's not too hard to clip a clip on top of a clip. God, that's so weird to say. But if you do enough editing, you can understand what I mean by clipping a clip on the clip. You could do that. Checking the Audacity.
Yeah. Okay.
Half an hour.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. You could do that. And since it's a stationary target and a stationary camera, once you get the measurements for how big you need your frame to be, it's not hard to just keep using those same dimensions over and over and over again per video. Because unless you have everything taped out, you're not going to know exactly where the camera was, how everything is, and yeah. Mm-hmm. So video by video basis, take the extra 5 minutes to measure out how big a frame or an empty space is to find a good spot to insert a clip.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Pretty much like, I think that's pretty much it, right? Because my thing was just like simply like audio transitions and how you do hard cuts to certain moments during the video. That's pretty much all I have to say. Basically based on like the type of content that you're making right here. And that's just like a review type discussion type of deal.
So big key points that I really want you to focus on. If you're going to have an intro and outro, make them your own. Focus on the timing of your cuts by actually zooming in on your time frame and seeing what the smallest unit is that you can work with and work with it. And above all else, edit before you even start filming. Think of what you can use and how you can space, and think of your setup and how it can help you with your editing process to make it more appealing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? I think
that's it from me.
Yeah, that's it for me too. All right. Well, I do hope that this was very informative. This is probably like more informative in like one take than I would ever get like in a day, or just, I don't know. I was going with that. I'm just going to pretend that. I never said that. Okay. Okay, that's all I needed to say. Yeah, tripped over words. I pretty much said my piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is kind of a beginner's guide from beginners on the basics of editing and how to get better at it. Not only for Mark, but for anyone who's kind of following us that likes our editing and kind of can build off of the tips that we have for you.
Whenever we do edit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope it was informative, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Which reminds me.
Hashtag...
Editing for sit downs like this and editing for skits, two entirely different beasts.
Hashtag bye.
Yeah.